What's up, boys and girls? I'm Charpen, and I'm not gonna keep announcing the figures I'm reviewing all the time. I'm assuming you all can read, right? So, Mechanic Master Megatron... No, Mechanic Master... Fine, whatever. Mechanic Master Megatron has a bit of an interesting story. And since you're watching one of my videos, I'm just gonna go ahead and pretend you actually want to hear it. See, it's pretty hard to find a Voyager class G1 Megatron figure, official or third party. And I needed one to go with my Voyager Optimus Prime figure, which I already reviewed before in case you didn't know. Links in the description. On the official side, you've got Megatron in Bludgeon cosplay, Nerfatron, Japanese Nerfatron, in your choice of fashionably flashy or slavishly tune accurate, and totally not Blitzwing in a Megatron suit. Now, none of these figures are inherently bad. I mean, they don't seem bad. I don't actually own any of them myself. But since I'm an incredibly picky brat, none of them quite lived up to my standards. Pickings are actually even more slim on the third-party side of things. You've got Rider Despotron, who looks good, but kinda clashes stylistically with MP10V, and Hegemon, who seems good too, but he just doesn't look right to me, and I hear his transformation is a bit of a mess. So what was the Charpen to do? Well, luckily I randomly stumbled across a listing for an oversized Voyager-class Megatron knockoff one day. Of course, at first I was kind of skeptical. I mean, I've never seen this figure before, and it's from China. I mean, no offense China, but for all I know I'd order it and end up getting a box of packing peanuts and a drawing of a Nintendo Switch. But after looking into it a bit and seeing other people talking about it and actual pics they took of him, I eventually decided, okay, this is legit. Lay it on me, China!
3 weeks later.
So, after freeing him from his incredibly overwrapped prison, I finally had what I thought was the perfect Voyager-class Megatron in my hands. And was he worth me spending so much time blabbing to you about how I got him? Well, it's complicated. This figure is an oversized knockoff, or OSKO, of the third-party Legends Megatron figure, Generation Toy Tyrant. It's a kind of newish and rare thing to see a knockoff of third-party Transformers, and you never know what figure is even going to get a KO figure like this in the first place. Though Generation Toy would know all about stolen IPs, you know what I'm saying? Controversial humor. Yeah, that's what this channel needs. At a glance, this Megatron looks mostly good. He's covered in really nice looking silver paint, which I'm pretty sure wasn't on the original, or at least not as much. It's kinda hard to tell from the stock photos. But what I'm sure is new is these paint apps on his belly control panel thing. It's not much, just a bit of red, blue, and yellow, but it really helps break up the sea of silver the original toy had. Granted, pretty nice looking silver, but still, it's nice to have some variety. Honestly, that's the only real bit of extra painted color he actually has. The only other parts of him that aren't silver and black are on his joints and eyepiece. But that's fine, because that's actually how G1 Megatron looks, so it gets a pass. And his chest is looking a little blank without a symbol of totalitarian oppression on him. But a repo label will fix that right up. The sculpting isn't exactly plentiful here either, though that might have something to do with him being a blown up Legends figure. And I have no idea what the heck this is. My figure is just riddled with random issues like this, I guess. But again, it's okay, because G1 Megatron wasn't exactly packed to the brim with detail either. In other words, you can get away with a lot of crap if you remain slavishly accurate to G1. Now let's talk about what always comes up whenever you're talking about knockoff toys, the quality. Yeah, I guess it's B+-ish. He doesn't feel like he's gonna break apart on you if you breathe on him wrong, but the plastic on this guy feels pretty thin. It feels like the figure was literally a Legends figure that was just upscaled and not tweaked with better quality to accommodate it. Anyone who works with pixel art knows exactly what I'm talking about. What this means is that handling him feels just a bit dicey. Like I said, he's not going to break on you or anything, but I don't really want to risk it either, just in case. And unfortunately, that's not the only problem with this guy. The tabs are utterly screwed, at least on my copy. I haven't heard any of the, 2 people who've also reviewed this guy talk about this, so it might just be mine, but when I got this guy, the tabs on the legs and this panel on the back had way too much excess plastic around them, making them nearly impossible to tab in the way they're supposed to, and even harder to get them to come back apart. When I first tried to transform this guy, I went through absolute heck trying to get the tabs to go together, and nearly got them stuck in gumbo once I did. So, if your Mechanic Master Megatron has this problem, well, first check to see if it does, and if it does, you're going to want to file down the offending tabs with appropriate tools for doing that sort of thing. Or you could be like me and hack away at them with a pair of blunt scissors and a kitchen knife for half an hour, because I had no idea what I was doing, and I still don't. So, now that I've raked this figure over the coals a bit, and probably scared a pretty good chunk of you off from buying him, let's talk about that posability, huh? The head is on a ball joint with full 360-degree rotation and a bit of up and down. And while we're here, let me just point out that the face is a bit weird looking. Again, as a result of the upsizing. But, I think it's fine. His eye is also messed up, but we'll talk about that later. Both shoulders have full 360-degree rotation, but the transformation joint on the right one likes to complicate things. And out of the box, one of them is probably going to be a bit too tight to go all the way around. Now what you don't want to do is try to force it and end up breaking the joint and crying in a corner for a few days. And the only reason that didn't happen to me is because I had the internet to tell me not to do it. Just take a screwdriver, or again, a blunt kitchen knife, and loosen up the screw in the shoulder a bit, and there you go, full rotation restored. They can go outwards a bit, but only really when they're pointing straight up and down. But you can kinda cheat on the right arm by using the transformation joint instead of the actual shoulder joint, with varying levels of success. And sometimes, well, a lot of times, they don't really want to hold a pose. Full rotation at the bicep if you've pulled them out of the shoulder far enough. If they don't rotate all the way, you just have to pull them out far enough for them to click. And don't break it. Elbows can bend not quite 90 degrees. Nothing at the wrist except a giant ugly gap and a floppy left wrist, which is why it always looks like this in most of the video. But the wrist is probably just an issue with mine. Again. And while we're here, let me just say that yes, his hands look like oversized oven mitts, and no, it doesn't bother me. Nothing at the waist proper, but he does have a kind of loose lower waist part on the ball joint here. Honestly, it's more of an annoyance than actually useful articulation. Also, the waist likes to do this. I said, oh yeah, now it doesn't want to do it. Oh, there we go. Out of all the tabs that are too strong on this figure, this had to be the one that was too weak. Legs are on ball joints and can go forward, back, and even a pretty good ways outward. Thighs have a swivel, that was a bit of a surprise, though it seems to be only 180 degrees. But honestly, who needs any more than that? Knees have an okay, but not quite 90 degree bend. And the feet are on a ball joint that may as well be a hinge for all the good they'll do you. So the articulation is pretty decent, as long as the waist doesn't trip you up, which it will. But a big issue with this figure was the leg ball joints. They were just a bit floppy to keep old Megsy standing on his own 2 feet. And I'm talking in past tense here, because the good folks over at Zhan Jiang, am I saying that right? Anyway, these guys were thoughtful enough to include some mystery Chinese nail polish. Okay, I would have preferred you just fix the problem in the first place, but now I guess I have this stuff for some other figures too, so that's a plus, I guess. So just pop the legs off, which on this figure is a bit scary. Slaughter some of this good stuff on there and boom, problem solved. And I'm not going to do any of that on camera because I already did it and I don't want to pop the legs off again. I guess I could use this to fix the waist ball joint too, but I'm not exactly sure how it connects to the torso and I'm not about to go pulling on stuff willy-nilly with this thing. So bottom line, articulation is okay, waist tab sucks, mystery nail polish helps, I can barely get into stand, now let's talk about accessories. First we got this purple sword, which if you've seen Transformers Prime, you'll recognize as the Dark Star Saber from that show. I don't know why a figure of G1 Megatron has it, but I'm not complaining. I'm also not sure if this is a knockoff of some other mold, like the Dr. Wu version, or just a completely new mold. But it's not like I'm putting it past the KO company to knock off some other company's toy. The blade can also come out of the hilt for some reason, but I don't know why you'd ever want to do that. I guess this thing is a lightsaber now. Next he has his iconic ball and chain. Literally. This is actually a tiny chain, like on a necklace or something. And since it does a color master with the translucent purple, it looks kinda weird, but I guess it doesn't really matter, seeing as I broke the darn thing. Well, I only really detached the chain from the handle, but it's still probably going to be a chore to fix, and I don't want to. I don't think this was the fault of the figure's quality, it was probably just me being too clumsy with the thing, so here's some old pics I took of it back when it was still in one piece. But I guess you can still use it as a stick grenade? Next he comes with this strange purple part that, from the other reviews I've seen, seems to have some people confused over what it actually is. Well, remember when I said we were going to talk about the eyes later? Yeah, it's that time now. Megatron's normal eyes are molded in non-translucent red plastic, and mine came out of the box with a messed up left eye. Now I should be mad about this, but I actually think it's kinda cool. I see it as battle damage or something. It reminds me of Dark the Moon Megatron, or that time in the Marvel comics where he went to London and got his eye messed up. Or maybe I'm just trying to excuse the fact that I'm forever stuck with a messed up figure in multiple ways, but just let me have this. So this purple piece is a replacement eyepiece that'll give him purple eyes with light piping. Man, these guys were really on a prime Megatron kick, weren't they? But since I don't have the right screwdriver for it, this thing is pretty much useless to me. Now this last accessory, except for the fusing cannon I guess, but all I have to say about that is these purple bits are nice. Anyway, this last accessory is more of an accessory for the gun mode, so why don't we get to that? Start by opening this panel under the head and flipping the head into it. Flip in the hand, then push out the arm. Rotate the right arm upside down on the transformation joint, then rotate the arm itself back up on the shoulder joint, then flip it outwards like this. Untab the left arm from the body, open up the body, and swing this whole assembly around. Flip the arm down, close the body back up, and tab the arms together. Rotate the legs sideways, open up the front panels, and hinge the legs up. They don't want to align right sometimes, but just work with it a bit and try not to move the knee hinge joint while you're doing it. Close up the feet and push them into the legs, and peg the legs together. Now, even though you file the tabs down if you follow my instructions, for some reason, you still gotta be careful on this step. I recommend pushing the legs together kinda sideways, Same for taking them apart. Don't push or pull them straight on like this. It's not going to end well. Take the barrel part off the backpack, swing it around to here, and tab it into the legs. Swing the torso over and push it into this panel here, and push the other panel into the back like this. Swing this black panel around and tab it in, and finally put the barrel piece into the front of the gun. Oh, and turn the fusing cannon around. The transformation is well engineered and actually pretty impressive. It can be a bit finicky at times, but just remember, this was originally a legend scale figure, so the fact that Generation Toy actually managed to engineer a transformation that turned out such a nice looking gun mode and left minimal kibble on the robot mode, except for this honestly pretty negligible backpack, is pretty darn impressive. The gun mode even has a kind of weak spring-loaded trigger and a functioning fake safety. That's pretty cool. Okay, full disclosure, once I finally managed to get this thing transformed, I ran around making gun noises for about at least half an hour. I have no regrets. And this is where the last accessory comes into play. Well, actually I guess the silver bit is the accessory because it actually comes with this already attached out of the box, and in the stock photos. Either way, while the silver bit is for keeping a smaller backpack in robot mode and allowing you to have a non-modded gun mode, if you remove the fusing cannon scope too. This black piece is for making it look like he has the silencer that Megatron was always depicted with in the cartoon. Though I guess to complete the look we are really lacking a stock extension, but I don't really care. You can of course still have the silencer piece on in robot mode, but it just ends up looking like he has a giant smokestack. The silver bit doesn't want to go all the way down like the black part does though, and I'm kind of afraid to try and force it, so I'll just leave it alone. Now obviously this mode doesn't have much posing potential, I mean it's a freaking gun, so let's talk about the size of this guy. It's most impressive. Don't be too deep into that. Although he's advertised as a Voyager class figure, this guy is actually more around Ultra class size, giving him a proper amount of height over your average Voyager, but not making him too big like a Leader class figure would be. And like I said in my MP10V review, I really like the way these two scale together. The beefy proportions that Generation Toy gave this guy really helps this oversized version and keep it from feeling like a smaller figure blown up to a size it was never meant to be. It also helps sell the fact that he's an Ultra class figure. He's not just a tall guy, he's a big, beefy bruiser whose size is equal parts height and bulk. I think this makes for an even better contrast against MP10's more compact figure. And that figure is in body shape, not figure as in figure. Though there is a bit of discrepancy between how satisfyingly weighty and high-end MP10V feels and how light and chill lower end that Mechanic Master feels. So I feel like I've been kinda wishy-washy on how I feel about this figure, but let me put it to you like this. Buying this figure is like adopting a creature of some sort. You're gonna have to invest a bit more than just money into it, but if you're willing to put in that extra bit of effort, you won't be disappointed. Unless of course you think that the face is ugly and the plastic is too thin and the waist tab is freaking annoying, which is completely understandable, and I mean there are a few other Voyager-ish Megatrons out there, but I'm not saying that you should or shouldn't buy it, I'm just saying that you could buy it. I mean, it's an option. Okay, I suppose it's about time I address this. Those of you who've been subscribed to me since the early days of my channel probably know about the videos I used to have on this channel. And if you're not a long-time subscriber, I seriously hope you don't know about them. Well, the thing is, those were just the worst. And not what I want to represent my channel anymore. So I've unlisted them. Not deleted them, mind you, just unlisted. I could totally put up links to them for anyone who wants to lose half their brain cells watching them. And if I got enough requests to. But even if that does happen, just know that they were made years ago by a version of me that was about 10 times dumber and 10 times lazier. Actually, the laziness hasn't really changed that much. Also, I apologize if the video and pics in this video weren't quite up to par this time around. Getting this figure to hold a pose was an absolute nightmare, and I was on a bit of a timetable while I was filming this one. The next one will be better though. Hopefully. Anyway, now that we've got that out of the way, feel free to hit those like and subscribe buttons. And I've got to get back to procrastinating.